Welcome survivors, I'm GP bringing you the latest ARK news. In the recent Community Crunch, we've got the Gigantoraptor concept art, clarifications on the pricing for ARK Survival Ascended, along with mods coming on day one, and the Aberration creature vote. Don't forget survivors, ARK Survival Ascended is now due to be released sometime in October. I keep getting people ask me about ARK Mobile, but there is no news on that revamp since April, I'm afraid. But when there is news, I'll be covering that for sure. The Gigantoraptor, I am loving its design and its colours. It's not quite the coat of fur that the submission dossier showed it to have, but it does resemble some of the other images of Gigantoraptor that are out there. I can just tell by looking at it that it's going to have some great colour regions, and of course this creature is going to be made in UE5 too, so there is that, and I'm just thinking it's going to look fabulous. Also, it's huge. They've definitely kept the large design from the submission, as you can see the comparison in size with the human. It is towering above. So now we wait for the creature dossier to reveal some of its abilities and its taming methods, and just see how much this oversized Oviraptor type creature is similar to the original submission, especially with that suggested OSD styled taming. ARK Survival Ascended, the ever-changing roadmap. That's right, last week there were further changes to the roadmap, with Scorched Earth being split from the island, the whole thing being pushed back to October, and the price being reduced. Studio Wildcard have clarified that the new $39.99 price at early access launch, followed by it rising to $44.99 sometime later, includes all of the DLCs. So this is the base game that comes with the island, plus Scorched Earth, Aberration, Extinction, Genesis Part 1 and Genesis Part 2. Of course, it also includes all of the free community maps. The one thing it doesn't include is the brand new canonical story DLC that's expected to release at some point. This will be a separately paid for product, as it will be entirely new. And I still have questions over that. Whether that DLC will be releasing during early access like Scorched Earth once did. Are Wildcard prepared to go down that controversial road again? Because when this DLC was originally announced in the first version of the roadmap, it was announced to be coming Q4 2023. But at the time, it wasn't an early access product. So is this still going to be coming before the end of 2024? They also reaffirmed that mods will be available day one, but also clarified that premium mods will be introduced at a later date. Now, this is the first time they stated premium mods won't be at launch, and this is pretty interesting. Now, don't forget, this is including consoles as well, so mods on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X. This begs the question of where will these day one mods be coming from? Now, I'm assuming when they say day one, they actually mean there will be working mods to use on day one at launch, as opposed to the dev kit being released day one. So if we go with actual mods being available to use on day one, then I see this either being a selection of modders being given early access to the dev kit, or potentially this relates back to the CEO's recent post on LinkedIn where he was looking for game developers to create mods. This post raised concerns with people at the time that the first selection of mods that would be available were going to be premium mods, but now we've got that clarified that they won't be available till later in the year. And don't forget, back in the original roadmap, they stated, "We plan on streamlining the process of upgrading legacy ARK Survival Evolved mods to the next generation platform. We plan to reach out to current and former sponsored modders in preparation for the launch of ASA with the tools they need to get their mods ready before the launch." So it's very possible that these plans haven't changed, and we'll be seeing some modders, specifically the sponsored ones, upgrading their Survival Evolved mods ready for the launch. Aberration Community Creature Vote. That's right, the next creature submission stage has begun, and it runs until July 17th. During this stage, there are two things that you can do. You can submit your own creature if you have one in mind. This needs to be a real world prehistoric extinct creature, not a made up fantasy one. Don't forget that this creature is for Aberration specifically, which means they have to be suited to that map. Therefore, not really any sea creatures, as the map has no oceans, it only has little lakes, and generally no actual flyers. And you can vote for all of your favourite submissions. You can vote for as many of them as you like by going into each submission and clicking the up arrow next to the submission title. In order to be able to participate in voting, you'll have to have an account on the forums at regular member level, which requires 6 posts. When the submission stage closes on July the 17th, the top 10 voted submissions will move to the final round of voting, which will begin immediately after on July 17th. Now, just a bit of advice here, if you have creatures that you want to submit, you really need to get them in early because it fills up extremely fast. There's about 300 submissions already in only a few hours. So let me know what type of creature you want for Aberration. That's all the latest news, survivors. If you don't want to miss out, make sure to subscribe.